evening, everyone. Welcome to the African Duchess show. Sorry for that. Evening, everyone. Welcome to the African Duchess show. I hope you are all well. I had missed you so much. I hope you've been having a good time since from the time we last saw each other, which was last week. I hope you're all well. This is your host, Rumbidzai Mzopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. And today we are joined by our lovely guest, Sindiso Matsokotere, who is the founder of Yapwi Foundation and a nutritionist from Zimbabwe. Sindiso, can you please say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone. How are you? And I hope you're all doing well.
Okay, so today we're going to be discussing on nutrition and on its importance in kids. I think we once discussed on the issues to do with mental health, and Cindy so is the nutritionist who really aired out and helped us on this. But today we will be discussing on kids and nutrition. I hope you're all well, guys. And oh, by the way, kids, our young sisters and young brothers, they are now back in school. The lockdown, the restrictions, they have been loosened a bit, and almost all the exam classes are now back in school. So all the best to the exam classes, be it those who are writing their grade 7, writing their O levels, A levels. Good luck to everyone, and I hope you really prepare and use this time diligently to really sharpen your skills, sharpen your math, sharpen everything in order for you to write your exams um, well. So, today the topic will be on kids and nutrition, and luckily for us, we have a nutritionist who is actually working and have worked with multiple kids, with multiple organizations, with multiple foundations on the issue of nutrition. Hello from G-Man. I missed you. He's saying hi to the Black Hot Fire Network fam. Hello there. So yeah, today we'll be talking on nutrition, and today we'll be starting nutrition from the time of fertilization. So when we're saying fertilization, I know you guys most of you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about from the time the egg and um, the the sperm come into contact, and well, you become pregnant. So we're talking about nutrition from the time one is pregnant. We're talking about nutrition. We start with nutrition of the mother whilst she's pregnant. So yeah, send this over to you. Today is nutrition, and it's about the kids and nutrition. But before we get to the kids, well, we all started off as an embryo. We all started off as an egg at one point. So yeah, over to you, Cindy. So
Thank you, Rumbi. It's a pleasure to be back on the show talking about nutrition, and yeah, I'm excited. So today's topic particularly is exciting because this is my my area of, well, this is my happy place because I love working with kids. I love kids. I love nutrition and what it means to kids. So as you have mentioned that nutrition starts off from the from even before the egg is fertilized. It starts from what the the woman eats, what the man eats, before they actually decide to make a baby, you know. All those
Mm.
factors come into play. So if you're because nutrition definitely affects even your fertility. So um the moment you then get pregnant, that's conception, nutrition is already at play. So if as a woman your nutrition is not in check at the time of conception, you might have complications during conception. Maybe um others have miscarried, others have had complications throughout the pregnancy, or all these complications being related to nutrition. So it's so important that the moment someone decides to have a baby, the moment people decide to have a baby, because it's it's really a decision that's supposed to be made. um have to already start checking your nutrition. Like, are you eating right? Are you do you have all the right nutrients in your body, and do you need to take any supplements on top? So it's so vital to know this. So when we're talking about nutrition, preconception nutrition, which is nutrition um before the egg and the sperm become fertilized, we're focusing on what the mother, mostly the mother, is, because she's going to be the host of this new life that's going to be growing inside her. So where so is her body in the right condition? Does she have all the necessary nutrients for a life to grow inside her, right? Because for growth, there there are nutrients that are needed. And what's so crucial about nutrition in this at this stage is, for example, there's a nutrient called folic acid, which is crucial for the stage when the baby is developing their spinal cord. I don't know if you've ever come across people who have a condition called spina bifida, where they're it's a disability, and like they they don't fully develop and end up in mostly in wheelchairs with he- many impairments. Like, they sometimes they can't speak, or they can't walk.
Mm-hmm.
All these conditions can be a result of not having the right nutrients at the right time. So you find that now, for example, in Zimbabwe, in and a lot of African countries, pregnant women are being given supplements so that they can supplement their diet, because research has shown that um, iron levels are very low, and folic acid levels are very low. So they've decided to give supplements to pregnant women so that they avoid conditions like this one that I'm talking about. So this is where you see how crucial it is, to introduce the right nutrients at the right time. Right. So then from okay, I don't know if I'm not talking too much. Maybe I should give back the platform back to you.
No, it's fine.
Uh,
We actually want to know.
okay.
That's the essence of this show. It's fine.
Okay. So from there, right? So I've highlighted the importance of iron and folic acid,
Mm.
at that stage when the baby is developing in the womb, right? Then um I there's another very common that I've noticed in women who are pregnant, like they look for sand or soil. I don't know if you've noticed that. They want to eat soil, they want to eat dirt.
Yeah, yeah. They want to eat soul and dirt
Hmm.
so much. Mm. Mm.
It's basically it's the body telling you that there's something that's missing, right?
Oh.
It's
Mm.
and it's usually, in most cases, it's usually iron. So you find that that craving means there's something lacking in your body, and if you take heed of those cravings, you will see that you you will then have to increase your intake of iron. So we're talking about your green leafy vegetables, your kale, your broccoli, um your spinach. All these are recommended, when you're pregnant, so that you get enough iron. You get also even liver, like organ meats, liver, and your beans, very high in iron. You make sure your diet contains these nutrients, these foods, because they will help you and your baby, to have a journey that's not as traumatic as, when you're having all these cravings. You don't know, you're feeling sick, you're feeling weak. Your body will tell you what you need, right?
Mm.
So thereafter, when when the baby has developed and they are ready to come out, usually at
Mm.
9 months, you find that
Mm.
um oh, okay, another thing before we get to the birth of the baby, what you eat is basically what your baby eats as well. So sometimes you find that if that okay, so the food you're going to be eating will also help with the growth of the baby in the womb, right? So that's already nutrition. You're introducing nutrients to your baby, they're receiving everything you're eating. And so you'll find that this is why they don't recommend that pregnant women take alcohol, because if you drink alcohol, your baby also drinks alcohol. If you take drugs, your baby also takes drugs.
Yeah, I
So
was about to ask that, like the issue of alcohol and drugs, or
mhm.
like, does it have an effect on the child, like their brain or their weight? What effect really does it have on them?
Um, there's a condition. Is it called alcohol alcoholism? Baby, I forgot the name of the condition, but if like there are babies who are born, sorry to say this, but
Drunk.
drunk.
Okay.
Yes.
Drunk babies.
Drunk babies. Like the baby looks drunk most of the time. So, and sometimes that baby is going to grow, they're going to grow up with addiction and um all these symptoms of a drunk person, but imagine a baby looking drunk. Like, how disturbing is that?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even their choice. I feel like it's such an unfair thing to impose on your baby. They they didn't ask for it. It's your choice, but already the baby is going to go through life with this condition that could easily have been avoided, right? So um parents need to make the choices they make, considering their children as well, considering their babies. And then um, there are babies who, if you okay, another thing that happens, if you've noticed, babies that are born with like tiny bodies, or okay, low birth weight, like
Yeah, who are
tiny
underweight, yeah.
yes,
Mm.
underweight babies, yes. You're going to notice that as they as as they go, as they get older, they have a tendency to overeat to compensate for the weight they didn't, for the nutrients they didn't get when they're in the womb. It's
Mm.
a it's a condition that has been noted through research, that babies that are born with low birth weight eventually have higher risks of becoming obese, because they're trying to make up for the food they didn't get to eat when they were still young. So
Mm.
it's important to make sure that you don't overeat or you don't undereat, so that your baby is born with a normal birth weight, right? And then there are babies that are overweight, born with, you know, uh, big babies, heavy babies, and those babies also have a risk of developing um, heart disease and all these conditions. Imagine a baby being born and already they're being told they're overweight or obese.
Mm.
It's very scary, but it's happening. Right. So now that the baby has been born, what then? This is a very important stage of life for a baby, from the time they're born until they're we call them the first 1,000 days of life. They're very crucial, very important. It's a very important stage of growth, because at this stage, when if the child does not get the right amount of nutrients, the right foods, they can be stunted. And when we're talking about stunting, it's low, it's like you're too short for your age, right?
Mm.
Basically, that's what
Mm.
stunting means. So stunting is a result of um like, okay, you're supposed to be growing taller by the time you're 2 years old, but then you're not getting taller. You're remaining short. So at that point, after the first 1,000 days, it's almost impossible to reverse the effects of this, of stunting. So that's why it's so important that children are given the right foods um before they get to two, and so that some of these conditions can be reversed. If a child has rickets before they're two, that can be fixed. It can be rectified and modified, so that the baby gets back to normal. So in the first 1,000 days, right, there are
Mm.
two stages. The first stage is from 0 to 6 months old, where the baby, we highly recommend that the baby is just given breast milk only, from 0 to 6 months, because um, research, science has shown that the breast milk is highly sufficient
Mm.
to
Mm.
take care of all the baby's needs, whether it's water, whether it's sugar, everything is there in breast milk. It's like the perfect food, right?
Mm.
When we're talking about perfect food, breast milk is on top of of the list, right? And I could go on and on about breast milk, but it's
Mm.
so important from zero, from the time the baby is born until the baby is 6 months old. You just give them breast milk unless a doctor um advises otherwise, in the case of maybe illnesses, or there's something that happened. But usually mom's milk is perfect. You don't need to give them water, you don't need to give the baby porridge, you don't need to give the baby anything else. So and then thereafter, after 6 months, at that point you'll notice that um the baby will um they're getting bigger, right? They're growing. And then now you can introduce solid foods. You can introduce um your mashed foods, mashed potato, your your meat, but not too hard. But you can just maybe mash it as well. Soft foods. Now you're starting to introduce your baby to all these to carrots, all these new things. And it's amazing how you'll see at that stage they will be able to take these foods in. If you give your baby meat at 3 months, chances of of chances like you're going to they might get sick, they might get food poisoning, they might you don't know how the baby will react. They don't have they can't even suck suckle on my like on solid food yet. So it's important to note this, that after six
Ah,
months
Cindy, so,
Yes.
sorry, Cindy, so, let me hold you up there. At
Yes.
one time, when my
uh,
little sister, she was quite young, I think about 4 or 5 months, and she kept on crying and crying. Ah, it was 3 months. She kept on crying and
uh,
crying, and I didn't know what to do with her. I'd never babysitted or looked after um, a young one at such a young age. And I don't know where my mom was. Then I decided
uh,
to cut up some fruits for them, and it even made it worse because they were now cubes. And I put them in a bowl, and I served it to my young sister at such an age. She turned all sorts of colors. All you can name them. She turned from blue, black to red to whatnot.
yeah.
And then
uh,
luckily, when my mother arrived, and she was like, you know what, you almost killed her. She cannot digest such at such a young age. One, she has no teeth, her
mm-hmm.
even her metabolism, everything. So yeah, it's really a thing that we should know what the type of solids, when to introduce them, and in which amounts. Because imagine, she was gonna die from a fruit, just from a fruit.
uh.
So yeah, you can carry on. It's fine.
Wow, it's a good thing she survived.
Yeah, she did.
But yeah, chances of them reacting badly to to solid foods are very high, because like, okay, you you know that your tummy is almost the same size as your fist, right?
Mm,
You've heard that before.
yeah, I have.
Imagine a baby's tummy. Can you imagine a baby's fist?
Mm.
And then you're giving them
I
Wow.
gave, yeah, it was a peach. It was peach. I cut up the peach and I served the 2 year old.
So it's like
So yeah.
it's quite overwhelming to their system, but
Mm,
anyway, so at but at the time they get to 6 months, they are grown now, and you can safely introduce solid foods. It's actually recommended to start introducing solid foods because some of the levels of iron in breast milk will then not be able to will not be sufficient for the baby now from the time they're now as 6 months and as they get bigger and older. So you also start giving your baby meat and yeah, but in African culture you find that a lot of babies are given soup instead when they're supposed to be given meat. They'll be given the soup. I don't know why, but usually they'll start teething as well, so they can actually eat the meat now, but I don't know why then then you start introducing them to new foods, maybe one food at a time, so that you can take note of their reactions. Do they like broccoli? Do they like carrots? How do they like their vegetables? You know, all these things. And then also, it's also very important to make sure that you don't put too much salt or too much sugar, because already their taste buds, you're training their taste buds to 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 eat so much salt, so much sugar. And
mm,
the the fascinating thing about kids is they will do as you do. Sometimes not as you say, but as you do. So when you're sitting by the table and you're eating as a family and you add salt to your food, you might tell your child, no, don't add salt to your food, there's enough salt. But because they're seeing you do it, they'll also be like, ah, well, why not? Then they'll
mm,
add salt. And sometimes then people become um they start having like very high salt intakes, and this leads to, yeah, like a whole lot of health risks and conditions. So these things start when people are still young, habits that develop um, when people are still young. So it's important to teach these kids good nutrition, to teach them why it's important to drink water, why it's important to eat healthy, to pick vegetables over sugary foods or fatty foods, why it's important to also have a garden. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's so important to teach your kids to grow their own food, their own vegetables in the garden, so that um, they appreciate where the food comes from. Like, oh, I planted these carrots and I cooked carrots that I planted. It's so fulfilling, and it's a good feeling knowing that I cooked tomatoes from my own garden. So it's important to teach the kids this, and that way they'll also appreciate where their food comes from, because there are kids who only know chicken from the frozen food section in the supermarket. They don't know where
mm,
chickens come from,
mhm,
or they've only seen the frozen chicken cut up into pieces. But you know they need to know where eggs come from, where milk comes from, and where how mushroom looks, and the like. So then as kids start going to school, they become more curious. They become very inquisitive. They'll ask you, why are we eating this instead of pizza? Why are we not having pizza like this guy, like this family? They have pizza every day. Why can't we have pizza every day? You are, as a parent, as a mom, or as a dad, you have to tell your child, you have to explain it to your child. Look, yes, you can have pizza, but not every day, and have to give them the reasons why, so that they understand from the time they're still young, right until they start making decisions for their families as well, because it's a cycle, it's a life cycle. You start as a healthy child, you grow into a healthy teenager, a healthy adult, and a healthy parent, and you also become you also then have healthy children. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle, really. I don't know if there are any questions as of yet.
Oh yeah. So we have our little sisters, we have our little brothers back in school right now. What would be an ideal packed meal for your lunch for their lunch break? Because with the whole um, processed foods and whatnot, mostly kids nowadays now prefer the crispers, like the Simbas, the Lays, you name them, as opposed to um, really nutritious foods. So, what would be like an ideal packed lunch or breakfast for our kids, little sisters, and young brothers?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Uh, as nutritionists, as a nutritionist, the basics that we recommend on your plate or in your lunchbox for for every meal, or at least one meal you have a day, right? So
Mm,
imagine a plate, right? Your plate, it's a circle, right? Whatever shape your plate is, right? Divide your plate into half, right?
mm,
We're saying half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables,
okay.
right? Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And then a quarter, right, should be protein, whether
mm,
animal protein or vegetable
mm,
right? And then the other
mm,
quarter is your starch and your grains. So if in every meal you manage to have at least a source of protein, at least a source of of vitamins and minerals, which is your fruit, your veg, and if you could also add whole grains, preferably, which take longer to digest. Therefore, you don't feel hungry quickly. You don't uh, quickly look for more food, right? Um, and then we also for the oil, we believe that most people cook with oil, so there's no need to add more oil. So if your plate looks like that, or your lunchbox has that, right, we will be happy as nutritionists. So for example, with kids, you can add, for protein, you can add eggs, you can add maybe a piece of meat, right? You can add um peanut butter or or nuts, or yeah, legumes or nuts to your child's lunchbox. And then definitely water, definitely water. They need water. You can add milk if you like, but water will be great, right? And your fruit or your veggies. But maybe for lunchbox, a fruit would be more ideal. They can just snack on that. Yes. So if you teach your kids to check their lunch boxes, if they have all these things that we're talking about, you will have a very healthy child.
Hmm.
A very healthy child.
All right. You mentioned water as well. Um, I'm guessing borehole water is the cleanest water, right?
Yes, clean water, please. Yes, clean water.
Clean water. So how are you surviving? I've heard so many times that the water in Harare is quite dirty. Do you have access to the boreholes? Do we have boreholes in schools? Do we have boreholes spread all over in public places? What's happening?
Hmm. Um, Currently, yes, the water situation has not been the best, but fortunately, there there have been quite a few boreholes that have been installed around town. Of course, there will be queues and all, but it's there, right? So at least there's clean water sources around available, which is a good thing because um I mean, if you drink dirty water, you're going to get sick and you're going to get diarrhea and you're going to lose all your nutrients. So sometimes, even if you're eating right but drinking dirty water, it's like you are fighting a battle with your body. So it's important. I thank you for emphasizing that as well. Clean water.
All right. Okay, sorry to take you a bit of course, but Cindy, so when you mentioned diarrhea, what's going on? Is it because these days, it's very hot? Most people are getting a diarrhea. What's going on? Is there like a link between this heat and us getting running stomachs all the time? What's happening?
Wow, it's yeah, true. There definitely is like a bug that goes around when it's really hot. I wish I could say it's this or that, but
Okay.
I really don't know what it is that affects the system so much that people get diarrhea. Um, my thinking
Mm-hmm.
is like when it's hot, there are more flies, and flies, as we
Oh.
know, transmit, you know,
Mm.
germs. So I think for me, that's the link that I could give off the top of my head. But I really don't know what else would then cause people to have this tummy bug at the same time as well, in summer mostly.
Mm-hmm. But are you surviving in this heat, Cindy? So I understand. You are yellow bone, yeah? Are you surviving in this heat, my love? Hmm?
Oh wow. Yes, with a lot of water and shade. Staying in the shade
Shade, right?
is, yeah. Yes. And
So,
hats. Sunscreen for some, sunscreen works for others, but um, it's really important to stay hydrated. And I saw a comment. Someone mentioned that you can also have fruit and drink tea for water as well, which is true
mm,
because there are fruits that have water. For example, watermelon. It's
mm,
very rich in nutrients and also water. It's very refreshing to have watermelon, especially in this heat, because hey, it's really hot. So it would be a really nice treat even for your kids to pack some melon for them as they go to school instead
hello,
of sugary drinks.
Cindy, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Did,
so there's a
did you get my
question.
last point? Okay.
No, we didn't get the last. What you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying that it would be a nice treat to have to give your kids watermelon instead of sugary drinks.
Oh, all right, all right,
Yes.
all right. Okay. Um, you were when you're talking about the food and all, also the issue of fizzy drinks, Cindy. So, what's your take
Mm.
on fizzy drinks? And yo, I feel like almost every grade one, grade two, every kid who goes to school, they no longer prefer like the Mazoe Orange Crush like we did back in the day, or other drinks, that aren't so much concentrated and has so much um, soda in them. What's going on? Like, what's your take on the issue of fizzy?
uh, I think there's addiction really. It's like
Mm,
the sugar is addictive, and that is one fact that we cannot run away from. Sugar is addictive, and unfortunately, most of the foods that are available now, like ready to eat or ready to drink, are loaded with sugar. You find that there are some drinks that um labeled 100% fruit juice, but if you check the sugar content, it's like half of it is sugar. So this our bodies then become so addicted to that sugar that if you have anything with any less sugar, you won't be able to. It doesn't taste as nice or as sweet as it should, you're used to. So because of that sugar addiction, you find that it's hard now to tell a child, no, don't drink this, try this, don't do this, do you have this, because they've become addicted already. So to to solve this issue from the beginning, it's important to not even if possible, not even introduce these sugary drinks to your kids when they're still young, especially if you can help it as a parent, if you can make the choice for them. Instead, it would be better to teach them to squeeze their own juice from fruit. Make smoothies, make lemonade, make with using real fruit and water, and they make their own juices instead of getting addicted to sugar and then for the rest of their lives they keep piling up on sugar, and this will lead to diabetes, weight weight gain, hypertension, the like.
All right. Thank you for that. And then one more question, Miss Cindy. What is
Mm.
happening to our teeth, to the young kids, like their teeth? They have no teeth, or if they have teeth, uh,
They're brown.
the brown, is it brown? They've, all right, fine. You know, I have a tooth gape, but
Mm,
them, they have like really huge gapes. Like
mm,
the teeth, their teeth is falling, you know, and you know,
mm.
you're so young, you're 10 years old, and you have no teeth, and this is the time where you need to be smiling and showing off. But well, yo, this sugar, this I don't know what's going on. Yeah, parents really need to chip
Uh,
in and control the sugar levels of their kids. Guys,
True.
what's
So
going
true.
on,
Like,
Cindy? So, you know, we need,
I
I mean,
wish
people are no
I
longer taking care of their smiles.
I wish my parents would have heard this advice at the time that they had us, because now, mm, I I'm like I'm still suffering the consequences of some of the treats that we used to get as kids. I remember when I was still in primary school, my parents would go shopping and they'd bring each one of us, like my siblings and I, a whole, like one person would get like a packet of giant lollipops. It was
Mm,
then it was like such a treat. But now when you go to the dentist and your dentist is telling you you need like 12 fillings, you're thinking,
wow.
what? Yeah, so I wish they had heard this information and given us healthier treats. But anyway, it's a good thing that we won't also do that to our kids. It's basically the sugar, Ruby. Like,
Okay.
if you give a child candy when they're still teething, and you know I mean, come on. They barely have enough teeth to eat their food. So imagine when they're trying to bite those giant lollipops, their teeth are going to break. They're going to, and how often would like they brush their teeth. Unlike adults, that okay, I'm supposed to brush my teeth 2 or 3 times a day. But as a child, they're going to be playing the whole day. Who's going to monitor them if they've brushed their teeth? So already they're at risk of getting dental cavities and losing their teeth, or maybe not even getting a healthy set of teeth from the get-go, because already they've been exposed to so much sugar. I don't know if you see the cycle, like
Mhm.
how it is. Yeah, so candy once in a while, as like once in a while, and in moderation. Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation, yes. That's our motto.
All right, but what about me? I'm 23 and uh okay, 24ish. 23 to 24ish. Wow. But I love my chocolates, and this, so am I
Mhm.
still at risk of uh cavity and everything you mentioned? Am I?
Who? Someone loves you, they bought you chocolate. I remember there's I think it was our bio teacher. She always used to say, if your boyfriend gets you chocolate, he doesn't love you. because it's going to give you cavities, it's going to make you fat, it's going to, wow, she would go on and on. So eventually you'd be like, ah, why don't you get me something else, that's not chocolate. But well, chocolate is, it's a treat. But if you, if like I said, everything in moderation, have chocolate, I mean, have cake, have it, but in moderation. Don't have a meal on like a chocolate meal, and and down it with, you know uh, a bucket of sugar, or uh, so if you're going to have chocolate, then balance it out with, you know water. Balance
Okay.
it out with, something healthy.
All right. So from the chat room, Nish, hello Nish. So Nish is saying she had a hard time getting rid of sugar, and this is what from Sean. He's saying I'm addicted to sugar. You see, so sugar is really a thing. And then
uh,
um from Sean again, he's saying Africa as a whole should be proud of their teeth. You guys, you're not addicted to sugars like Americans. I have never seen an African with no teeth, honestly. We'll show you people with no teeth, Sean. So yeah, true. It is very rare because they have not sent all that poison, and it is expensive. Yeah, guys, sugar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But well, people have no teeth out here. If we had thought about this, we would have brought photographs for you to check out. And people have no teeth. By the time people get to 50, are even worse because really sugar catches up. Well, thing is, I'll try to keep my sugar levels under check. I just love my sugar in biscuits and chocolates. But well,
Okay.
thankfully, think we are in dire times. I can't afford the chocolate on a daily basis. Thank the economy for me on that one. So maybe I can take 2 or 3 chocolates in a month. That's not bad, is it?
Yeah, it's involuntarily,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
once in a while,
Once in a while.
not to have chocolate for breakfast, chocolate for lunch, chocolate for dinner. I know.
Mhm.
That would be so wrong. Even your skin will be like, mm-hmm, mm-mm.
Mm. And yeah, and I've noticed that your skin is quite flawless. Oh, is it also because you're a nutritionist? You know the food to take, the right amounts, or what?
Wow, thank you. Oh, now you're making me blush. Wow. um, well, um, definitely water. Water is my go-to. Water, and cutting back on oils and sugar, because you find that a lot of pimples, a lot of outbreaks are the skin. It's all oil. It's a lot of oil, and it's basically what you're putting in your what's in your diet.
Mhm.
So your hair, your skin, your nails, all these are directly affected by what you're eating, what you're drinking. So nutrition will, yeah, nutrition is like, it's like a the center of who you are as a person, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a mom, whether you whatever you are, you have to eat right for whatever role you have, whatever role you play. As like footballers have to always eat right. They have to make sure their diet is perfect for the game. I'm basketball players. I mean, I how many people have I seen who wanted to do something, but because they were not um big enough or
Fit
small
enough. Yeah.
enough, fit
Mm.
enough, want to be a model, but then you're told you're too fat. You wanna be um a bodybuilder or boxer or wrestler. You're told you're too small. You're too, all these things. It all comes down to nutrition. Mm,
Hello.
yeah. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, Sister Cindy. Earlier
Okay.
on, as we were at the beginning of the show, Keith was like, Cindy, so are the lights out because we can't see your face. We can't see your face. Cindy, so you should show your
Yeah,
face, Cindy, so
yeah, my
as open because hey, this family of ours, they will kill me if they don't see you. Eh? You should show your face, Cindy, so.
well, Keith.
Huh? You should
Uh,
show your face, my
okay,
love.
I promise the next show I will show my face. I promise.
Okay, all right. So let's just say today there were no lights, right?
Yeah, today. Yeah, a lot is going on today.
A lot of going on. All right.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. Thank you for joining us today on this lovely um, segment on the African Data Show. And today, guys, we were talking about nutrition and kids from the time of conception up until one can choose certain meals for themselves. And before we close off the show, I would like to greet and give a shout out to everyone in the chat room and to everyone who was participating and having us on the show. I want to say hi to Sean Scott. I want to say hi again to Nish Penda, to Mr. Pirate Brain. I think he said he likes my hairstyle. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Pirate Brain. And then oh, when it came to the heat, Cindy, so you said you were hydrating and keeping in the shade. Well, Keith was like,
Yes.
I can't imagine not having air conditioning. That's from Keith. He can't imagine not having air conditioning. Citizen. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hi, I can hear
Hello?
you. I can
All right.
hear you.
Citizen. I can't hear you.
Yes,
All
I
right.
okay.
Then
Yes, and now.
shout out to Big Cheese. Thank you for joining us. And Robert Williams, thank you for joining us as well. And then, well, that's from Niche. When we were talking about keeping ourselves hydrated, she said any kind, if you like some good teas as well that are rooibos, yeah, there's so much rooibos in Africa. There's also lemon ginger. Guys, try all this, and then you can also drink tea and eat more fruits. Uh-huh. All right, and also shout out to Marvin Gaye who joined us today. Thank you for tuning in, Marvin Gaye, and everyone who tuned in on the show tonight. Thank you for coming in. I had missed you so much. I had missed you so much, guys. You don't even understand. But well, I'm glad to be back, and we'll be seeing more of each other every day, same time, same place on the African Duchess show with your host, Rumbidzai Muzopa. Cindy, so can you hear me? Are you back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cindy, so can you unmute your mic?
Can you hear me now?
Cindy?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
here.
so I'm guessing she's having a bit of I think it's network or connectivity issues. All right. Thank you so much to our lovely sister Cindy. So, she's part of us, the Black Hot Fire Network. She's part of the Melanated family. They don't have AC in Washington. Well, niche. We don't have AC here as well. You would only find AC in the five-star nice hotels or in houses of very rich elite people. That is where you find AC. Oh yeah, so as is for the shade, we'll be taking our cold water, keeping hydrated. Cindy, so anything to say
Yes.
before we close down the show?
Um. Okay. Yes. Let's drink a lot of water and let's eat
Ah,
right. Let's drink a lot of water
mm.
and let's eat right and
Can you
exercise.
increase your volume? Sorry, sister, you are breaking up. Can you increase your volume?
Okay. I think it's. Mm, is it better now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. I was saying. Let's drink a lot of water. Let's exercise and let's eat right. Let's eat right.
All right. Thank you for your input today, Miss Sindisa Matsukateri. Sindisa Matsukateri is a nutritionist from Zimbabwe and the founder of Yapri Foundation. It's a health and wellness lifestyle organization. We will be bringing Cindy Somo here, and she is the nutritionist for the Melanated family. And thank you all for tuning in. I love you all, guys. Good night. We'll meet again tomorrow for our daily show and for the African Duchess show. Good night and enjoy to those who are waking up, to those who are still on their day. Have a lovely day. Good night from the Duchess. Much love to everyone and thank you. Mwah.
Good night.